Rescue effort to free 41 workers trapped in a collapsed tunnel in Uttarkashi, Uttarakhand is nearing completion, with officials anticipating a breakthrough in a few hours from now, that is. The Silkiara tunnel, stretching 4.5 kilometers, caved in on the 12th of November with workers trapped inside. On the 12th day of the efforts, the rescue team is close to reaching the workers after successfully inserting an 800-meter pipe through the debris. Authorities have drilled nearly 60 meters into the debris, inserting pipes through which the workers are expected to be evacuated. The operation faced a setback when a metal girder was encountered, according to a government statement, causing damage to the drilling machine and temporarily stalling these efforts. Prime Minister Modi and Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami are also constantly taking stock of the situation. Before we slip into this discussion, let's take a look at all the details of this rescue operation as well. And let me also quickly introduce some of the people who will be talking to us about this. Naveen Bhatnagar, former DIG, NDRF, is joining us on the show. Wing Commander S. Sudhakar, former Indian Air Force Global Strategic Defence expert, also with us on the program. Major General Sudhakar Ji, former VSM veteran, geopolitical strategic defence expert on the program. Mr. Sadanand Pawar, senior design expert, SVA Corporation, also is with us on the show. And last but not the least, Mr. Chintan Vasani. He's a partner with the WizBiz Group. He's a town planner. He joins us on the show as well. All right, I'm going to go over to the big screen and try and show you what exactly we know so far. This is a cross-sectional view of where this exactly took place. If you look at this white line, this is the tunnel that we are talking about, and this is what was being seeped through. This is where the accident took place on the 12th of November. Mind you, that day was Diwali. All right, the block debris is obviously towards the Silkiara side, and it's obviously very, very clear from this angle that there is a lot to be covered when you have to, in fact, construct a tunnel like this. Usually, what we have learned so far, that there are avenues on the side. There are in fact smaller passageways that serve as exits in case of such an accident, but that was not the case with this tunnel. The ongoing construction is about 477 kilometers, but the part at which the accident took place is about only a few meters long, and that's exactly where the problem lies at this point in time. Right, well, the construction done so far is ongoing construction is 4.77 kilometers, and the construction done so far is 1.7 kilometers. So I'm going to go over to Mr. Bhatnagar, who's going to tell us what exactly the problem is and what kind of rescue efforts and what kind of a dangerous situation even the rescuers, sir, can find themselves in.
Actually, it's a challenging job, we can see. In so many cases, we have dealt with such situations, but not like that. It is a typical case and having the lot of challenges which were noticed because our own construction in the cave, this thing came in between, like the boulders and rods, iron rods, and all these things came in between. And this auger machine is now feeling very difficulty in making the way clear. So due to that only this thing happened. Otherwise, we have achieved the target long back. But now slowly we are cutting down, especially the NDRF people went inside the pipe and they have cut down these boulders and this rods, iron rods. And they have made the way clear. So slowly we are going, because now a lot of this such type of obstacle will come in between. So it's our prime duty to remove all the debris from inside, because in that pipe oxygen is not there, air quantity is very low. So anyhow, our NDRF people who are going inside that pipe, they are using this BA set, breathing apparatus set, and with the help of these sets, they are making this possible. Anyhow, and we hope when the opening will be there, so our people will go with BA sets and extra BA sets to rescue the people with the trolleys, stretcher, having the trolley. So, and by crawling method, and we will and drag method. We will take out all the victims, all the our target people from that particular area. So our
Okay.
doctor and our 14 people, they will go inside, they will pacify the people, they will take out the people one by one as per their conditions.
All right,
Yeah.
let me also rope in Major General Sudhakarji into this conversation as well. General Sudhakarji, pleasure to have you, sir. Well, the army's got an uphill task. Literally, no pun intended, it is an uphill task at hand. And only the army could have done it.
Yeah, Vidit, good evening. Thank you so much for getting me to your show. I have just, while the panel discussions are started, I got information from one of my colleagues. Do not sensationalize ongoing rescue operations at Silkyara, Uttarakhand. Ministry of I&B advises TV channels. Anyway, suffice to say that it's a very complex, very difficult, very challenging assignment ahead. And I would say in the independent India, this is for the first time a rescue of this kind is taking place. We keep our fingers crossed, pray to God that all 41 people are saved and they are freed as early as possible. Suffice to say, there is a very senior Lieutenant General Atta Hasnain who's given a detailed statement to one of the news channels, and I am told, going by our previous co-panelists, a Herculean task is on its way, and I would say we are just a couple of meters short of our people who are trapped under the debris and the mountain having caved in. All I would say is that yes, army has got its role, made out. It's a big challenge, and this is a young Himalayan range, and this is going to also a breakthrough in freeing our people who have been held under the caved-in mountains is going to give a huge success to the Indian rescue operations. And I would say that we need to exercise caution while going through making tunnels in these kind of areas. I'm just back from Norway couple of days back. Norway is known for the tunnel making capability. Everywhere you find Norway, the rail and the road network is actually extensive tunneling has been done. They have the technology, they have the experience and the wisdom, but the mountains are very seasoned and they actually stabilized, not like the Himalayan ranges. So therefore, it is actually eye-opening for us. On one hand, we are gaining experience. The other hand, we need to protect our people who have undertaken such serious, challenging tasks under the mountains, and we would like to wish them all the very best. And back to you, Vinit.
All right, let me also rope in Mr. Sadanand Pawar into this conversation before I get Wing Commander Sudhakaran next. Mr. Pawar, what do you make of this, this particular situation that these workers find themselves in? It's obviously too early to blame. We don't even want to blame anyone. We don't want to sensationalize anything, like General Sudhakarji very rightly said. But there are lives at risk over here. What, according to you, is the assessment of the situation, and how could this have been done right?
There are three aspects one should talk about it. A is definitely a planning which requires to be done, which I'm sure Government of India under Gadkari ji must have taken place. But what we have seen certain levels of lacunas in terms of construction. As you rightly said, we do not want to, criticize on anybody, but the kind of a precaution which should have taken place, as considering it's a range, Himalayan range, is considered as a pretty young range compared to other. Predominantly, I'm talking about Alps, and little while ago, Sudhakarji also mentioned, those are all matured ranges. The typical way of doing the construction over here is once you do a construction, once you start a construction, you have to give away some period of a notional substance to be done for the soil, which unfortunately, because of the cost parameters and the time consumption, that is practically not possible. For a country like Bharat, it is just not possible. We are on one way we are talking about the fastest of the economy. On the other way, we are talking about the speed of the time. And these four, junctions, what we call it as a Char Dham rectification or Char Dham speed up of the yatra, would have taken place by taking a substantial auditory measures. And that is something, if those are not taken or those are not implemented in a precise way, we must attack those with immediate effect, and the audit must be done for all the existing tunnels and the new tunnels. That would avoid such kind of a jeopardizing rather situation, which is not really a pleasant. 12, 13 days the people are there, and we do not know what would be their mental condition. They are certainly under trauma, although the government, the state government, the central government, everyone is taking care of it. But just imagine, within a span of 1000, 2000 square foot, if there are 40, 50 members which are roaming, they do not know what to do. They are together 24/7. How many hours they would talk, how many hours they would discuss, how many hours they would share their life with each other in terms of their experiences. There would be a super duper psychological treatment or psychological war within their mindset, which I'm sure government is. I also heard that there are 41 ambulances, 41 beds, and to the extent there is going to be an air ambulance also, which government has arranged to
All right.
make them somebody serious, to get them at Rishikesh.
All right, good points there. Commander Sudhakaran, how do you weigh in on this?
Government and the leadership for having, not left any stones unturned for ensuring that these lives are rescued. Good job done. But are they not accountable? I can keep admiring Modi, praising him every day. I love him. I love him for what he does. But there is a problem of averageness in everything that we do. Because when you plan something, because this is an engineering, because you are engineering a tunnel. And the problem with India today is our professionals are simply not right up there when we talk about risk analysis, risk forecasting, and risk mitigation. That's part of every engineering project, be it civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electronics engineering, or information technology. Even before the COVID hit India, I went up to the vice chief to tell about the impending disaster. In fact, before the first meeting was convened, we were ready with an action plan. But there were people, there were hawks who were just wanting to make hay while the sun was shining. And COVID was sunshine for them. So much so, in the first quarter of the COVID, 440% revenue jump was encountered in one of the companies, which was involved with Arogya Setu. And we called it out. Similarly, today, when you're going and sitting in the lap of Google for gifting DigiLocker to them, you are inviting trouble for the future. You're simply not doing enough level of risk mitigation, risk forecasting, and risk analysis. Coming back to this tunnel episode, I would accuse the planners of 5 things. 1 is inadequate site investigations. 2 is poor construction practices. 3 is failure to account for groundwater if it was, possibly because of which this landslide has happened. Lack of emergency preparedness and ineffective oversight. How can tunnels be dug on a terrain which time and again has been encountering landslides? How could they oversee such an important aspect? That means that we are taking shortcuts. That means people who are not adequately experienced or people who are not competent enough are sitting in positions of power, deciding everything from digging a tunnel to taking policies on India's digital infrastructure. We need to pull our socks. See, Vineet, one thing I want to tell you is I grew up in an era where Congress fed me with stories wherein I saw my country as a defeatist country, a country of losers, wherein the greatest emperors were only Mughals. But now that has changed. I have read, I have found, I have regained my ground with the likes of people like Nilkant Nilesh Hope, who have told that Ramayana and Mahabharata is no longer a myth. So I come from a different breed today. But having traversed that journey, having gone through that journey, today I'm still a silver medalist. But the forces which groomed me, they said that in war there is no silver medalist. There is only gold medal. And that is why when India lost that final, it hurt me. Yes, they played well for 45 days. But why are we silver medalists? Because there is something lacking in us.
I
That
appreciate.
leap from silver medalist to gold medalist will take precise planning, and we need to do that. We need to lead the world, and that will only come when our professionalism steps up. We don't want another episode of where 41 odd people are again stuck like this, next year, if we are going to continue with such average levels. That's the simple point that I want to
I
make.
appreciate your passion, Commander Sudhakaran. I really appreciate it. And what you've said is of course true as well. Mr. Chintan Vasani, partner WiseBiz Group, is also here with us. Chintan, if you're there with us, do you concur with what Commander Sudhakaran had to say, that the construction standards in our nation needs to be upped, if we have to, in fact, compete with the rest of the world, and in this case, not stake lives?
Personally, I feel it's a geotechnical failure, and a thorough investigation is required, and in a few days we will get more clarity. But personally, I feel right now, BRO, CDRF, all the agencies that are involved, tomorrow we are expecting good news, hopefully. Construction standards, yes, we have to be more diligent when we are planning things. There has to be like a thorough geotechnical investigation of the rock mass time and again, the soil investigation, and to enhance the stability, an independent specialist geologist will have to be appointed going ahead. I personally feel my heart goes out to everyone who is there inside. I feel they have to come out very soon. And I can totally relate to what the gentleman before me said. We are getting to a $5 trillion economy, but we have to reach there at a cost, and that has to be not be because of a loss of lives. So I feel that has to be taken care of.
Chintan, how are you rating the rescue efforts that are on right now?
I think every Indian is rating it 100 on 100, or I think 110 on 110. The reason being, we are getting updates that almost BRO, there is military, there is NDRF, and there are a few people from abroad who are working, trying to get everyone out. Analysis and everything should be done once everything is sorted, and there should be measures which has to be planned so this can be avoided in future.
Chintan, good points there. I'm going to go back to General Sudhakarji on this as well again. General Sudhakarji, do you concur with what Commander Sudhakaran had to say? That if you have to have these optics, at one side and then the reality on the other, there's a lot of distance between the lip and the cup.
Vinith, how dare I contest or oppose by name type? He's one of the very few in our media today who speaks his heart out, and he is a man of courage, of conviction. He's a military leader. I salute him. I respect and acknowledge whatever he has said. But the fact of the matter is, we have lost a lot of time in 75 years. We have woken up in past, let's say, 8, 9, 10 years or so. We have a long way to go. And when we are actually aiming at a 30 trillion economy by 2047 or earlier than that, or 12 trillion or 10 trillion, along with the speed, accuracy, and also balance of our effort is required. When we are doing that in a country with a population of 1.42 billion, and with the kind of the fault lines that we have, talk about the geography, the historical fault line, the socio-economic fault lines, accidents are bound to occur. So I'm trying to give a measure. I fully endorse what Wing Commander, my name type, has given Sudhakaran. But at the same time, we have to be mindful of the challenges that we are fraught with or we are abound with. And while being mindful of the challenges, I do not say that we will be silver medalist or will be accepting any kind of substandard work. Let's trust our own fellow men who are on the ground. They are doing their best. I am fully conscious of the fact that a kind of a comprehensive, more than 360-degree effort is going in. And that's how, in such a short time frame, the rescue has been actually speeded up, whether it is the Chief Minister or the bureaucrat or the Prime Minister himself. I'm told by people concerned, one who has given me the message when the panel discussion started, he is in the the center of gravity of the decision making at the national level, strategic level. He has shared with me that Prime Minister himself is seized with the situation. Why only the morning report? Time to time he's taking a feedback, no matter where the election campaigning is going on. That is the accountability, the sense of concern of the top leadership of the country. I am a political man, I am a military person. That is the kind of leadership we require in the nation if we are looking at 5 trillion, 10 trillion or 30 trillion in foreseeable future. But above all, I feel that the infrastructure development has picked up momentum for the first time in the 75 or 76 years of our independent timeline. And it is going to further pick up, particularly towards the northern border. Northern border being what it is, 3,488 kilometers,
Right.
and the mountain ranges being young.
Right, sir.
We
We have a paucity of time. Let me also quickly rope in Mr. J.S. Rathore also, who's a tunneling expert with us on the show. Mr. Rathore, sir, we have spoken about this before. What's your assessment of the discussion that we have had so far, that the levels of construction, the levels of safety, the levels of precision when it comes to people who are are part of this ecosystem of construction and infrastructure need to be better?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Go on, sir.
Yes.
Go on.
Regarding geology, because I will talk. Hello.
Go on,
Can
sir.
you hear me?
We can hear, sir. We can hear you, sir. Go on.
Yes. So geology is the important, which we all know, and Himalayas is the young mountain, which is fragile geology. That also we know from years. So now, what we should understand, because methodologies are there, technologies are there. If we cannot use the time-bound manner, then this kind of incident keep on happening. It is not the first one. We can hear this last 4-5 years in J&K, then Himachal, now it is in Uttarakhand, and it is repeating again and again, and we are not learning lessons. We are not following the geologist's direction on time. If geologists give a classification, see, it is based on the raw classification and design is followed accordingly. If design does not spike or fulfill the requirement of geological parameters, then that means design is not adequate. So it requires to revisit. So design aspect correlates with the geotechnical aspects. So here what I envisage that somewhere, whether it is not a geotechnically properly studied or the construction methodologies are not timely adapted. That's why this problem is happening. And it is not now. It has happened 2 years back. 4-5 rockfall happens. It was an indication that you should go and redesign the support system. But I don't know what has happened. And this is, I'm worried in future tunnels also, if we keep doing like this, sorry.
Right, sir.
We have to be stringent. We have to follow safety norms. And
You're absolutely right, sir. And we've unfortunately run out of time, but each one of our guests has made a very valid and potent point.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.